What's up, guys? Sage here, back with another Bleeding Edge how-to guide. So on this one, guys, we're going to be going over Daemon, get over his abilities first. His first abilities I want to go over is his wall jump. His wall jump, basically what it does is it gives you an extra jump and it allows you to get up to higher places, but it costs 1 stamina. So just remember that. Then his special abilities: shift, surge forward quickly, press X while shifting to exit with a powerful spin attack. Then stealth/sleep. Enter stealth for a short time. While stealth, press Y again to sleep an enemy. Stealth is broken if hit, attacking or mounting. And then shuriken slows enemies and drain their health over time, so it poisons them. And the first one is 10-second cooldown time, second one 18 seconds, and last one 12 seconds. And going over his ultimates, his first super is Shadow Strike. Dash between nearby enemy fighters, rapidly striking them for percentage of their max life as damage. And the last one is Death Mark. Grants an extra damage against your marked target. If you kill them, you can cast this again within 5 seconds for free. So right there, guys, first let me tell you guys, when you use Daemon, it's the same thing with all other assassins. You got to know where you want to be at first. Don't just start off the game just attacking randomly. Always think about what you want to do first and then move from there, because being how they're assassins, they don't have that much HP. So if you're playing the power cell game mode, what you want to do is you can either go collecting with Daemon, because Daemon has great collecting skills due to him having a dash, and on top of that, Daemon also has 3 dodges with a camo, and he can also sleep an enemy and slow them with shuriken. So Daemon is a monster when it comes to just controlling those cells. Like when you want to get a ton of cells and just power the game out, Daemon is perfect at that. Like, he can easily do it. But Daemon also drops a ton of damage, so you can't just do collecting the entire time and just not help your team in the fights, because that's just going to kill your team's chance of winning. So yeah, what you want to do is you want to always start off with that. So first things first, if your team hops into a fight right away trying to steal the enemy's cells, you can either go in with a dash attack, or you can either go in with a stealth to a sleep. Your stealth to a sleep can easily put you onto the enemy team's healer and or their ranged character, so you can easily get early damage in the fight. So my way that I do it is I go in for the stealth to the sleep, due to me having 3 dodges and a dash. On top of that, he gets 3 shurikens, guys, so you can slow people a lot. And the shurikens, by the way, they do not stack the slow, but it stacks the poison. So you can get a ton of poison damage with hitting every single shuriken on one player. But you must remember, sometimes it's good to keep 1 shuriken just to slow an enemy that's on top of you. So what you want to do is, if you going in for a kill, if you need that last shuriken to get that kill, if you play for that, make sure you have a way to get out. Do not just throw all your shurikens and not have a way to get out. It's just not good. It's just going to ruin your chances of staying alive, and sometimes you may need to stay alive due to you having power cells. So you might want to try to figure out which one's the best way. It's so optional that, like, you can just do many different routes with Daemon. Like, Daemon just has so many options. So you have to think about where you are and how your cooldowns is looking, all these things, because Daemon is just a mad optional character and he's very powerful right now. So yeah, you just gotta think about how you want to play and where you want to go from there. And also, Daemon's moves, his shift and his stealth, can be activated in midair. On top of that, his shurikens can also be activated in midair. So even if you're in a position to where you're landing and the enemy is waiting on you, you can dash with your shift, or you can just go straight to stealth, or you can shuriken them to slow them from afar. But like I said, once you figure out where you want to start off at, the best way to go in after you go in for the either power cells or the enemy, and the enemy's already attacking and you're already in a fight, what you want to do is always remember to go for the healer. Always remember to go for the healer first, because Daemon can easily pick out a character right away. If the healer is tanking too much due to the healing, you go for the other lightest character. That way you can help out in the fight and not just be sitting there not getting damaged and, just damaging to nothing. So you go for your damage and you pull out. Once you get enough damage and you see that your team is not winning the fight, what you do is you try to slow the enemy for your teammates to get away, and or you try to sleep an enemy for your teammates to get away. That way it'll knock one person out the fight just right away, and that way once that one person's knocked out the fight, so they won't be in your way, it'll be a better chance of your team escaping out that fight, even if they're losing. So that way you can easily just help out and everybody can get away safely. Don't just run away from your team. If your team's losing like that, don't just run away from them. If you're low and you have to reposition yourself, yes, reposition yourself. Go ahead. But do not just completely leave your team, especially your healers. They will need the help the most because there's probably another assassin attacking the healer just like you are. So what you want to do is you want to either help by slowing the enemies or sleep one player and then get out of there. But make sure you just try to help your team. Don't just run away, because that's not the best move. You can make it out, but then again, it's like, oh, that caused us the whole thing. And your teammate had like 8 power cells, and the enemy team already has like 10 power cells on top of them. So once that happens and that teammate dies, they just have a ton more power cells than your team, and that's not good for your team at all, because it's not good to be just lacking on power cells completely. So sometimes it's just better to help out than run away. And even if you die and you don't have any power cells, it's still better to help your team, because like I said, guys, if they have power cells, you might want to try to keep them alive. Do not just leave them, because that's going to cause your team a massive L. Now next I want to go over his supers. His super, Shadow Strike, can also be activated in mid-air. He goes into a certain animation that he does not pop it until that animation is fully active. Even on the ground, if he doesn't fully put the sword in the ground, he does not go into his ultimate. So you have to remember that. You can be stopped before doing your ultimate. But once he pops the ultimate, he becomes invincible and he's untouchable at that time. And it creates a giant circle, which attacks every enemy within that circle and it slows them. Now, this one does decent damage to all players because it's a giant AoE attack. But the bottom super can get you a lot more damage, and that's Death Mark. Death Mark can easily get you a lot more damage, and it can easily help you easily win fights when it comes to picking off players like healers or range characters or any lighter character, because once you put it on them, you do massive damage to that player. So you can just get a ton of damage on one player and just pick them off. And once you pick that player off, you can easily reset it and do a ton more damage to another player. So I like to use Shadow Strike because Shadow Strike can also help you get out of the way, and it helps by damaging all enemies. But Death Mark is probably more of a meta ultimate unless your team has like a good comp setup. But like I said, Death Mark can easily help you win out fights if you use Death Mark on the healers, and you could go to straight picking them off to a runaway to come back and start trying to pick off the next person. And by that time, while you're attacking that enemy, you may be getting your cooldowns fully back and your abilities, so it could also help you to get more damage due to your abilities coming back. And the last 2 small little things I wanted to go over is his wall jump and his evade. Now Daemon does a different animation when he's on his last evade. So when your stamina bar is running low, and say you're one of those players that you don't really pay attention too much to your stamina bar, when he does his last one, he does a whole roll animation. So that lets you know, I'm on my last one, I have no more. So that fully lets you know that you ran out of stamina. And his wall jump can easily get you out of danger, but you got to make sure you use it at the right time, because like I said, it does cost a stamina bar. And on top of that, you have characters like El Bastardo, like I said again, and he will get up to you easily by just dashing to you. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. But that's it for this video. If you guys like and would like to see more videos like this please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on those notifications so you won't miss a video. And we are almost at our sub goal, and we appreciate if you guys would spread our channel to your friends and family to help us out even more. It would be greatly appreciated. And with all that, it's been Sage, and I'm out.